Wow, this video is way fucking more personal than I was intending for it to be. But I mean, you know, it is the personal reasons, I guess. Here are the real reasons, the personal reasons why I tell people I'm a robot. This video is for people interested in actual robots and shit, and definitely like self-development and personal growth, whatever you want to call it. I have another one I dropped I think last month about the marketing, the branding reasons for it, especially for rappers and producers and CEOs, and really anyone who wants to know about marketing and personal branding, reasons behind it. I'll link that in the description, but this video talks about the personal growth reasons, and some of the, I guess, like psychological reasons. Number one is AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence. It's basically machine learning, and technology is, a lot of it is kind of beginning to really learn about us so that it can be more like us. And it's not evil or anything. A lot of people think AI is evil. It's not. A lot of people think it's good. No, it's not. It's not good or evil. It's neutral. In the words of Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, that's why you must put goodness into it. If you watch interviews with this guy, he explains how Apple is doing nowadays. He explains it as simply as possible because, you know, Apple is all about their simplicity. So the reason I mention AI is it basically learns things about people, around it, the environment, and everything for the sake of achieving its goals. Its goals, as you can probably guess, are typically, hopefully, based on how it's programmed and the intention it is, you know, produced for. And it's programmed by humans. I like to think humans are programmed by humans. So I like to say, guys, hey, I am AI, and you guys have programmed me to achieve my goals, aka your goals, aka our goals throughout my childhood, and all that other bullshit. Optimally, humans and AI will merge. Anyone who follows Elon Musk, the Tesla co-founder, knows how he feels about AI and how fast it's evolving. I actually treat the AI I use, the computer, the phone, my tablet, all Apple products, of course, I treat them like they're my friends. Because you are your friends. Whether your top 5 friends are alcoholics or millionaires, you are number 6. So I mean, I don't have an Apple Watch or an Apple Home, but I guess that means I'm number 3. Because I don't really have any friends. Or at least any top ones. So how am I doing this? How am I becoming like this technology every day? Well, I'm learning about how it works, and thinks and acts, and its workflow, how it gets so many different things done at once, and how it wouldn't take a break at all in the process. And I treat myself the same way, in the most efficient, effective way. The more I learn about humans and how they work, the more I learn about technology and how that works. I'm learning about AI the same way AI learns about us. Because I know that if we eventually turn into technology, which is scary as fuck to think about, that's why I'm learning about it. I'll have been 10 steps at least ahead of everyone else. And honestly, that's part of the reason I want to become a musician, so I can begin to spread these ideas and lower the fear of shit like this. I want to spread like positive, powerful information that makes people less scared, because I feel like there's way too much fucking fear everywhere nowadays. And it's just fucking unhealthy for us. But I also treat myself the way we treat AI. Well, hopefully. I recharge, I maintain, I sleep. Any problems, I make sure to do something about. Speaking of which, number 2 is correcting myself. AI is programmed by humans more and more to be optimal, to be perfect. It's always looking to correct itself. So I'm always correcting myself, always evaluating myself, always saying, how could I have done this differently? Why? How would I do it? How can I maximize the upside and minimize the downside? How can I contribute to the most to the environment without burning myself out? What did I do wrong that time? I try to think in layers. I try to think about the way I think, and to think about the way I think about the way I think. And that's just the way I think. There's also the way I act, and the way I learn, and the way I treat others, and the way I feel, and all this other crazy shit. But I like to think about the reason for the reason for the reason for the reason behind things. And when I do this in conversation, it can either intrigue people or fucking seriously piss them off, as one could probably imagine. But looking for the triggers of them being pissed off or even getting sort of kind of to that point, so I can be like, okay, let's move on to a different subject. And say that to myself. That alone is just one of probably billions, maybe trillions of different things I or you can always change, always optimize, always correct about ourselves. There is no fucking limit to self-correction and the improvement of how you approach your life, let alone life in general. Number 3 is software updates. Any Apple product, at least, I heard Tesla does this too. I don't own a Tesla product fucking yet. These companies have software updates. The inside, the programming of these products actually improves, because these guys, in my case, it's different areas of my brain, the different cells, they're all working together, and they're like, hey, we looked at a lot of bullshit that you guys don't like, and come to think of it, we really don't like it either. We actually really dislike it more than you do, concluded in our unfathomable quantity of research. That's how fucking bad it is for both of us. So here's the new solution. Here is our proposed optimization, our update. We want to know what you think. You don't have to tell us though. But regardless, we're that smart and we're getting smarter. We might know before you do, but we're not gonna tell you that because we don't know if you want to hear it, and if so, how badly, and for what reasons, and we're still figuring that out as well. Now, here are some of what I like to call glitches. Here are some of the personal reasons for the people who are like, dude, is this kid, like, actually a robot? Because he really does sound like one with the way he's explaining all of this shit. I don't know, I listen to countless audiobooks. So many different viewpoints that probably all disagree with each other in many different ways, and I like to think that I will always have flaws, because I'm always trying to tell myself that perfection is possible to achieve, especially in ridiculously small amounts of time, which is probably a supremely unnatural, just inhumane way to expect shit out of yourself. So I want to highlight that. I probably have not even flaws, really just kind of quirks. I will talk about them in the future. Not really in videos, I'd rather not, because that's not valuable in my opinion, depending on the way and reason it's presented to the market. I'll do it more so in my emotional outlets of self-expression, fucking aka my music. One of them is compartmentalization. Compartmentalization is basically a fucking big word. It doesn't really have a meaning, I just like to say it because it sounds cool. The other one is, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, it does sound cool, but compartmentalization is basically a psychological defense mechanism used to cope with and or prevent discomfort, whether it be emotional, cognitive, spiritual, existential, maybe even physical, I don't know. But there are lots of things humans know that robots don't. And robots are still trying to adapt to those things and become them at the same time, or at least harmonize with them. The fact that emotions cannot be concretely quantified and fucking measured is, I think, the foundational reason it's so fucking difficult for AI to look at a situation, for example, like a very, very heavily experienced behavioral therapist or marriage counselor or FBI recruiting agent or what have you, and actually effectively handle it. What typically makes other people uncomfortable, when it makes me uncomfortable, I let it kind of just emotionally wash over me, because I logically look at all the different things in that scenario, all the different potential outcomes, so I can kind of begin to sort them out, and I can calculate the best decision for everyone that benefits everyone and act accordingly on it. I compartmentalize. I don't like to get emotional about things. That's part of the reason I'm so passionate about music. I can't fake smiles. I can't fake laughs. I'm horrible at lying. I don't like exaggerating. I don't like over or underestimating, and that's because it's not the exact thing people want 100% of the time. I don't like giving people immediate answers that aren't 100% true 100% of the time, or at least optimizing in those numbers, you know, like fucking Google does. I'd rather not leave those things unsaid because of the consequences despite any hidden selfish reason to, like Facebook and Apple. I don't like hurting people. I don't like hurting myself. I used to self-harm. As of January 27th, I will have not done it in 5 years. And I was like this before I ever called myself a robot. Some of these things changed over that time. Obviously, they have been optimizing themselves ever since. I really don't like socializing. I don't find myself easily able to relate to the reasons other people do what they do. I'm low-key very, very selfish, and maybe high-key very, very egotistical. I mean, I talk about myself all the time in these videos, but I want my output, the expression of my intent, to be the reversal of that. And this endless quest for knowledge is probably because of that more than anything else. I want to love myself, and I want to show the world that because of that, maybe it would be a good idea for you guys to love yourselves too. And maybe because of that, we could love each other. I think people are good. I think they're selfish, but I know that there has to be a part of people that isn't. Is world peace possible? I think that in 2019, it is more possible than probably ever. Some of these compartmentalizations, these traits, taking a lot of jokes most people laugh at seriously, the inability to really relate to and kind of move with the social cues, these are glitches to me, an utter obsession, a fixation on one particular topic, music. I mean, nowadays it's basically life, but fundamentally music. These things in combination are actually a cluster of problems for plenty of people. Many of these people have it so bad that the APA came up with a name for it. Autism. I think in like 2013, I was diagnosed with Asperger's, which is apparently the highest socially functioning form of autism, but that really, really fucks with my head. I was like, dude, what's wrong with me? Why am I so different from everyone else? It was so much more than uncomfortable, and you know that a lot of that had to do with the self-harming and everything, and wow, this video is way fucking more personal than I was intending for it to be. But I mean, you know, it is the personal reasons, I guess. But with self-harm, a lot of people do it, or I want to say did it instead, because I feel like that's more positive and triumphant. They did it because of body image, family issues, and like bullying, which are fucking so big. They are so bad. They're terrible things. They are so unfortunate, and my reasons were about that instead. But that alone, that Asperger's shit, and how, you know, why am I so different from other people? Like, I feel like I'm never gonna be able to relate to anyone. That's just the surface. They actually went a lot deeper than that. Like, I'm talking on a conscious level alone. Like, culturally, intellectually, technologically, and like fucking socioeconomically deeper. But 5 years later, I'm kind of looking at them like a lot of the time, instead of beating myself up over it, I'm a little bit upset about it, which I compartmentalize, but generally in the process, I take it and ask myself, what the fuck? This is so strange. Like, it's clearly a fucking problem. Like, duh, but what's the solution? And the more I look for a solution, because I'm so obsessed with finding solutions nowadays, and I feel like that has contributed to my personal growth more than fucking so many things, but the more I look for a solution, the closer I get to it, the more tempted I am to eventually try it and figure out it's not as bad as it seems. There are little aftermaths, times where I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? It's really dumb. Like, I have other shit to do. But either I compartmentalize those, or honestly just kind of go back to my old ways socially, withdrawing, but just handling it promptly, really sorting it out. Not coping. I don't like that word coping. Not even the meaning. It just sounds fucking weird to me. It sounds like washing your hands before you clean the rust off of those fork things that you use to roast marshmallows. Let me know if you guys have any ideas you want me to talk about in future videos, and I'll give you a shout out if and when I use them. If you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up. There are links at the bottom of the description to all my social media. Also at the bottom of the description, there are links to my new production kits where you can find all the hardware and software that I use to make music and these videos. If you buy any, I get commission, which helps me build this channel and keep making these videos for you guys. I made all the beats in this video. If you want to use any, you can find links to each one in the description from first to last, or at samuel.earth/beats. Make sure to leave a like if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already. If you could turn on that little bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find me everywhere, and I'll see you then.